I just want to take the time to thank everybody that watched the This Is My Life series featuring Stacy, BKA Stotz. As you can see from parts 1 through 4, her story was crazy and she went through so much. And her resiliency is key because she managed to get through it safely and she survived. And I also want to say thank you to her as well for her transparency because a lot of people don't like to speak about stuff like that. And for her to do that just speaks volumes on the type of person that she is. But also, I would like to say help is available. Anybody that's going through any type of abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, if it's really that serious, please call your local police department or you can call the National Sex Assault Hotline. The number is 1 800 656 4673. Once again, the number is 1 800 656 4673. As always, spread love, not hate. Chase our dreams. Hello, hello, hello. We are here. You know what it is. You know who it is. It's your boy Meek here on the up and coming show, Breaking Bread. And you know this lovely face. This is Stacy, BKA Stotz. And we have reached the end of the road to This Is My Life. This is part 4. We were going to do it live face to face to make it more interesting, but she ended up catching Ebola, so it didn't happen. So it is what it is, but I still said to myself, we have to do this. We here, baby. We here.
Really, Ebola? Like you really
Yeah,
had
Ebola,
to.
bro. This Ebola shit is real, y'all. This shit is real because when I was talking to her a couple of days prior, actually 2 days ago, she was sounding like a full-grown man. I was about to ask, hello, can I speak to Stacy, please? You know?
You are
So
so extra right now. It's not even that deep. Like
yeah, man, I'm just saying, but damn, we made it, yo. We made it. Part 1, I was not expecting to go the way it went. I just was like, what? Like, you caught me off guard. I ain't gonna hold you. You really caught me off guard because I really didn't know the raw emotion I was gonna get from these questions that I asked you. And the vulnerability that I got as well. I was surprised. Part 2, you was saying some shit that kind of had me like, damn, is she really saying that shit? Like, thank God you ain't dropped no names, man, because you'd have motherfuckers banging on your door.
I already got haters hating. It's okay. They know who
And,
they are.
and part 3, sheesh. So I'm just saying to myself right now, I wonder how this is going to go because I already know you're going to bring the heat like you did in part 1, part 2, and part 3. So I just want to say before we go any further, thank you for telling your life story on my platform because you didn't have to. You understand? You have quite of a following on TikTok. You know, a lot of people know you and know who you are. So it's like you could have chose anybody in the world, but you chose your boy Meek. And from Meek to Stotz, from La Meek to Stacy, I appreciate you for doing that for me. And yeah, I know I said my real name. I usually don't do that, but I, want to make an exception to the rule because it's you. So thank you.
I appreciate you and thank you for having me on here to tell my story because it's gonna open up the platform because of my book. So, which we'll talk about later.
Perfect. So, you're supposed to be doing a podcast, right?
Yes, it'll be what did we say? June 21st, I think. The third week in June, that's when we're gonna start it, and you're gonna be my guest.
Okay.
My first guest.
I'm going to be doing what on your show?
You're gonna be my guest and we're gonna be talking about your story.
That's what I'm talking about. And for those that know me, I got a lot of shiz not e to say. Of course, I don't drop names because I don't mess with Babylon. So I ain't gonna drop no names, but I'm gonna drop some whew, bombshells. But without further ado, you
No.
you ready to get into it?
No, because the first question is deep and it's hard, but yes, it's raw and it's gonna, yes, let's just, fuck it, let's do it.
All right, let's get it. The first question is: name one deceased family member you miss and why.
Just, ay, ay, ay. Can I name more than just one?
Sure, this is your life. Do your thing, girl.
Okay. So, first and foremost, I want to talk about my grandmother. That's the first person. She wasn't biologically my grandmother, but her and I had a really strong bond, and we became really close. And I miss the hell out of her. I do. And if she was here right now, she would kick a lot of asses. She always had my back. Second person would be my aunt. And I'm going to say her name, my Aunt Johanna, because she was there for me through a lot of my childhood. She let me live with her a few times. She understood me. She helped raise me. She made me go to Catholic school, which I didn't like. But she was a little bitchy, but if you knew her, you knew why. And
Yeah.
it it's funny because she was really bitchy, but everybody be like, "Oh, she's so miserable. She's so miserable." But if you actually sat down and talked to her, you'd understand how amazing she was. And I miss her. I mean, I miss my other there's so many people I wish I could bring back. So many. You know, we've lost so many along the way, young and old. But lastly is the most important to me, and that's my daughter, my baby girl. Her name was Amelia. Actually, her anniversary of her death is on 4/20. So it just passed. Um, she'd be 20 this year. And for a parent to have to bury your own child, your firstborn, your own child, the one that's been through everything with you, that shit's hard and deep. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of her, that I don't miss her. And you want to hear something fucked up, Meek?
I'm all ears, baby.
I was told a couple years ago that I need to get over her death. I need to get over her death. Who the fuck tells you to get over your child's death?
I mean, what they should have said was try to find a better way to deal and cope with it, but you can never get over the death of your child. Like, that's stupid to me. Whoever said that is a jackass. Seriously.
I went through years of therapy to help me, and that's where my addiction came into play, because that's how I coped with it. You know, let me just numb it and numb it and numb it and numb it. And like, that's one person I wish she was here. And I feel like my children got robbed because their older sister is gone. Like, they didn't, my second born remembers the day it happened. And that day, I remember it like it was yesterday. Fuck. You and these fucking questions.
Come on now, cut them crying ish out, man. Don't mess up that makeup, man.
Fuck the makeup. This is raw. Like, let's be real. A parent burying your child. And I go through it now and I think about it and it breaks my heart. And every year it gets a little easier because we don't forget. It just gets easier to deal with. But that is why I wrote my book, my first book. And it talks all about that so I can help another parent go through it. But I also thought about it and, we don't realize that, yes, I lost a child, but that same day, a parent lost 2 children or 3 or 4. Our whole family was gone and wiped out.
This
So
is true. This is true.
I'm grateful in a sense, if that makes any sense, that I
But you
didn't
gotta
forget my
remember, it still doesn't take away from your pain. So don't try to dummy down or discredit your pain because burying a child is very difficult. Remember that.
She was so full of life too. 26 minutes from the time I laid her down for a nap until I checked on her, she was gone. Gone.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, yeah. That's the main person I wish I could bring back.
So if you don't mind, this is a run along question. I want to dig a little deeper. How did you manage to get through having to bury your daughter or cremate your daughter? I don't know what you did. Oh, well, actually, I do cremation. Sorry, but how was the process for you? Like, how did you get through it?
I laid in bed for 2 weeks. Well, I mean, I was completely numb the first, like once they pronounced her dead, I laid on the table with her in the trauma room until everybody came in, and then they said that they needed to start an autopsy because nobody knew why. And the next day, I remember going through the garbage because I just threw away like all of her artwork that she drew. And then I started putting it in frames, and I just kept my brain occupied for a little bit. And then once the funeral happened, I just laid in bed and just popped pill after pill after pill after pill. I numbed myself completely for years. And then I saw a therapist 3 times a week for 4 years. And still till this day in my garage, I have a bin and it's filled with, this is another thing I'm gonna tell you, it's fucked up. I have a bin of her stuff that was on her bed the day she passed away. And I feel like I'm ready to, donate those things because they're just items. They're not important things. Like, her memories are her pictures and her ashes, her urn. Like, those are all special things to me. So I had asked somebody who was my rock at the time during um, her funeral to help me go through the bin. And she said, I think you need therapy. I went through 4 fucking years of therapy and I still need more therapy. Do you know what it's like to lose a child? But then I have nieces that are the same age as her, 3 months apart in age. And I'm looking at them now grow up and go to college and do big things. And I'm like, that should be my daughter, Amelia. That should be my baby. And it's hard and it's thrown in my face constantly, and it's not their fault. But I have a little resentment. So how I got through it was I numbed myself, I put myself in projects, and became a drug addict.
It's kind of funny you mentioned that because I was gonna ask you another run along question. Do you think that was the birth of you being addicted to alcohol and drugs?
Yeah. It wasn't so much alcohol, it was more drugs. The
Mm.
opiates, that was, like anytime I was stressed, pop a pill. It was even if I wasn't in pain, popping it, popping it, popping it. And then it got to the point where I was running out of them, so then I was buying them. It was bad. But I am clean. I've been clean for quite a while, years. So that I do have to say I'm proud of.
Resiliency is key, and you are the epitome of that regarding your situation, of course. All right, on to the next question.
Ooh, fuck.
Would that person be proud of you today? Well, in your instincts, would those people be proud of you today? But I'm pretty sure you're gonna add the extra emphasis on your baby girl. So
I'd have to say they would, because of how far I've come and the struggles that I've been through in life. My daughter mostly would be proud of me because, mom did it. Not only was I addicted to drugs, I was also in a DV situation. So maybe things would have been different where um, if she was still here, I wouldn't have gotten in that DV situation. Like that was hard too. But I think they would be proud of me.
okay, one thing I would like to say about my questions is because somebody said that my questions were very basic and simple. I'm not gonna name no names, but the reason why I formulate the questions I formulate is because I go off the answers that I get. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They spark my mind to ask run along questions regarding the subject. And once again, I said this in part one, I'm going to say it now. I appreciate your transparency and able to be open to these questions. So I have another run along question.
Oh shit.
um, so how did you get through the domestic violence situation you were in?
To be honest with you, I don't know. That was hard. And so many people knew and didn't help. But when you're in a DV situation, um, you have to be ready to leave. You can't just be forced because you're going to go back. The average person goes back 7 times. Um, the last time was the last straw, and I was pregnant with my youngest, and he tried to cut my son out of my stomach after he beat the shit out of me, and I had a black and blue eye.
Hold on, what? Are you serious? Wow.
And he made my other child hold the knife, and she was 5, almost 5.
So are you talking about your oldest after Amelia, or you're talking about the one before?
Baby number 3. My second child, who was after Amelia, she saved my life 3 times.
Wow.
So my children have been through a lot of PTSD. They have issues with um, men yelling, you know, that, you know, that's self-explanatory. But once you're in a situation like that, it's like you try to get away, but they draw you back in and they manipulate you. And it's, I'm so sorry, I love you. And it's like, okay, I want this to work. I have 2 kids with you. And you know what I mean? And then it's back to getting beat again. And it, he beat me. He hit me one time so hard that it actually made my eye perforate that I needed a corneal transplant. And
Wow.
I had to be rushed down to Philly hospital to have a transplant done. And then after he hit me and he realized that I was blind in my eye, he begged me not to tell anybody. Everybody knew. How could you not? But the very, very last time, I went to a DV shelter, and that's where I got the help that I needed. I did ask a family member if I could stay with them, but they told me no. And I later found out they told me no because I would have went back to him. That's what she said. And she was probably right. I probably would have, because I was just so stuck. I just wanted that family, that tight knit, like, okay, it's all right, we have a family together, like, that's all I wanted. But 2 weeks into our relationship, he was already choking me. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. Wow.
Got any more questions about that?
It's like I'm looking at these questions and I'm saying to myself, you know what? These questions are not as tense or intense, I should say, than the past previous 3 shows. And it's like you still bringing that raw emotion, and I'm just like, damn, I thought this was going to be a peaceful, farewell to the show, and shit, you fucking still making me sad.
Sorry, I don't mean, you know what, Meek, if this podcast, this part right here helps anybody, any parent that's going through emotional distress because they lost a child or a grandchild or a family member or somebody that's in a DV situation get out, like, then we did what we were supposed to. My purpose is served. That's the way I look at it. And it's not just women that get abused, and I want to really emphasize that because men do too. And it's not shown enough that men do. And it's sad because these women take advantage of it because they know if the man hits them, oh, it's an automatic PFA. But if a man goes and gets a PFA, he really has to fight. That's not right.
Word. Yeah, you're right. Mm.
It's not
I
right at
felt
all.
that. I felt that just now. Whew. Okay. On to question number 3. If you were to pass away today, what would your loved ones say about you?
I'm sorry. It depends which loved ones we're talking about.
Let's talk about your immediate circle. Let's just
Okay.
talk about them. Let's not talk about the other a-holes that don't count. So your immediate circle.
God, this got me emotional. I'm sorry. They would say that I'm a loving mother. I'm very outgoing. I've always taken in children off the streets that need somewhere to stay because I don't want them to live a hard life. I want them to feel safe. They would say that that was just fun. Like, I mean, there's moments where I would tell my kids, you know what? Have a slip and slide inside the house. It's raining outside. Go ahead. Just clean it up afterwards. Enjoy yourself. So, I mean, be kids. Like, they would say that I'm an amazing mom, and I love hard and I love strong. And I just, if I died happy.
Okay, this is another run along question. Let's add a little bit more emphasis to the loving mother part, right? What are some of the things that you did for your children that they would say to themselves, "Oh wow, I remember when mom did that for me"?
I do everything for my kids. I, um, I mean, that's a whole broad spectrum of things. I sit down and I eat dinner with them. I cook for them, home cooked meals. No phones at the table. They know that. Like, we sit down, I ask how your day was. What'd you have for lunch? Type of thing. Um, Sometimes we pray together. A family that prays together stays together. Mom got us out of a really bad situation and made the best of whatever she could. Even though there was times where I couldn't put food on the table, I still managed to do it. God works in mysterious ways. You know, I really I pushed hard, and I do things on my social media platform because I get revenue from it. That is why I do what I do on there. Um Amongst other things, but right now I currently can't work, so I try my hardest to um just be there for my kids. Listen to them. Kids are having a hard moment. They sit down and I listen to them. They don't want my input, they just want my ear.
I love the way you put that just now. For real. They don't want my input, sometimes they want my ear. I love that.
It's true because like kids have to vent like adults. We have our moments where we just want somebody to just listen to us. Not say nothing, just listen. And kids have that too. And a lot of parents are so quick to just shift the kid off and here, have a tablet, shut up, go do this, go do that, and not really sit down and just say, how was your day at school? What'd you do today? Parents, sit your children down and ask them how they're doing, because I guarantee you 80% of them are getting bullied in school and you don't even know it. Or other things that are happening and you don't even know. I am very, very involved in my children's lives. I know exactly where they are, what they're doing, who they're talking to the point where I don't even have to go through their phone because they speak to me and tell me everything. I still look anyway. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, they feel so comfortable enough to be like, and there's a barrier like mom, best friend, but we all know like mom doesn't play and they know that. And I stopped the cycle of many things, many things. And I don't want to speak on that because that's meant for something else. And yeah.
Well, I will say this. I'm probably gonna get a little bit personal as far as our relationship goes. So, um, the crazy thing about this girl right here is she's like my oracle in a way. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna say I don't believe in that type of stuff because I do believe in people that are able to see the future or see things that others can't see. But what really gravitated me toward this girl right here is she was spot on with the shit she said. And it fucked my head up. I'm talking about things that nobody would know. She would just blurt out and say to me when we would have our conversations when I would be calling her seeking guidance, and I'm just like, yo, this girl is the real deal, man. And since then, I've grown a relationship with her. We became cool. I actually know her children personally, and she's an overall good person. Everything that she's saying to you, I've witnessed with my own eyes. The relationship and the bond that she has with her kids and other people's kids that probably their parents don't have bonds with them like that. So she is the real deal, man. I just want to put that out there and say that. So
Thank you, Meek.
no problem. Okay, we are going to the final question of the night. Question number 4. Sum up your life in one word and explain why you chose that word.
Chaotic. And why? Because there's so much going on in every moment. And it's just not in my head, it's my children, their lives and things. And so it seems like it's chaotic, but it's like a controlled chaotic, if that makes any sense. I that's a hard question to answer, to be honest with you, because it's just not like one set thing. You can't just say, yeah, my life is just fucking peaches. Nobody's life is great. Okay, all of our lives are shit. Let's just be realistic. Nobody has it 100% perfect. So you can't say your life is perfect. Nobody could say they're 100% happy. Like, I'm being raw. My shit is fucking crazy. Like, my house, there's always a child here. Or, there's always a sick kid, a child here. I'm sick. This is going on. This is, this drama, that drama. It's just chaotic. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Does that make sense?
It makes a whole lot of sense, man. You got to understand there isn't a clear cut definition of does this make sense? Like it goes according to the person's lifestyle and how they living. So I agree with you 100%. It does make sense according to your lifestyle. It does.
And you've been to my house, so you've seen the spectrum and the amount of things that go on at once in the house. Like, and you're just like, all right. But my children are well behaved. They respect. They love one another. And they know at the end of the day, no matter what, that's all they have at the end is themselves, like them. If something were to happen to me, they have each other. And they have such a close bond. And not only with them, but with other children that I've brought along and brought in. They call them my sister, my brother. Like, if I look at it now, Meek, I would say a total of 9 kids. 9. But really, technically, I only have 3 living. 1 deceased. And then 5 I've taken in and claimed as my own. Even though they're not biologically mine. But they call me mom. They look to me for advice. They call me and say, hey, I'm going through this. There's one child that, bless his heart, he didn't do too well and he's doing something now, but that's his story. That's not mine. But yeah, I mean, chaotic, but I love it.
That is a definition of a toxic trait that you love. Remember we spoke about that?
Yes.
That could be one right there. It's chaotic, but you love it. From an outside perspective, chaos could be presumed as something as being toxic, but that's why I always tell you it's a broad definition. Like some people look at one word and say, okay, this is a definition. No, it's not. It's according to the person and how they feel. You feel me? Like for you, you saying that is like, okay, that's my life and I love it. But for somebody else outside looking in, they can say, what? My life is chaos and she loves it. She's fucking crazy, So
A walking red flag. Like, get the fuck out of here.
yeah, exactly. So
And I don't mean it that way. Just the broad spectrum was like it's chaotic. No, I don't mean chaotic. Like, like there's always something going on, and I don't have to explain. I just explained it. Yeah.
I know what you mean. I get you.
Yeah. Let me just stop right there because that just sounds really bad. But
Nah,
the
you
people that
gotta
do know
remember
me,
something. It's your story. Your story is not meant to appease everybody watching. Your story is meant to be heard. Whether they like it or dislike it is completely their choice. Remember that. This is your story.
and this isn't even half of my story. I held back so much due to the respect of others, but that is what my book is for. And that's where it all comes out. And
Mm-hmm.
it is deep, and it's bad. Very detailed.
And I can't wait to read it.
Well, it's actually book number 2. Book number 1 is about Amelia and how I went through the process. And yeah, hopefully that. Yeah, it's called Roses of Amelia.
Okay. Okay. We are at the ending of the show. First off, I want to say I appreciate you for really sticking through with this for 4 full episodes because I originally was going to do somebody else's life story. I ain't going to say no names. You know who you are, though. But they decided to step out in the process of making their life story because they felt like the questions weren't suitable to their emotions or how they felt. So thank you because I was super duper excited about doing something like this because I always wanted to do stuff like this, Like for a long time I really didn't understand why I was doing this or what I was doing it for. And then once I came across you and started talking to you, learning your life story, and I tried to do somebody else's life story prior to you, I said to myself, you know what? This might be what I want to do because I felt excited about doing this for having a person to use my platform to feel comfortable enough to speak about their life story that can possibly change somebody else's life if they're currently going through what you went through and you survived. So, like I said before, thank you for using my show. And I think I found my niche thanks to you.
I think you did too, and it's been an honor. It's been hell. I've gotten a lot of backlash, but that's okay. I'll take it. I knew it was going to happen. We spoke about that.
Yes.
And
And this one right here. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's all I got to say is yeah. For those that have been watching her previous podcasts that she did with me regarding her life, you'll know why I'm just saying yeah. Because parts 1, 2, and 3 were all crazy. I'm talking about from the beginning of the recording to the complete end. It was emotions, sadness, anger, shock, all in one. I'm telling you.
can I say something, Meek?
This is your
While I
life,
have a
man.
minute.
Of course.
So part 3, I was speaking about addiction and what I was going through. And I just want to say everybody in this world needs to look around you. If you woke up this morning, you have something, because there are many people that did not wake up that morning. And if you are struggling from addiction and you only got an hour clean, a week clean, I don't care. I'm fucking proud of you, because you have the will and the power and the strength to get through it that the other person couldn't do, did not wake up from it. Don't ever let that fucking bring you down. You got this. And if you're struggling from mental health, Do you know 136 people unalive themselves daily in the United States just to mental health? And I think that's around that. It might be a little bit more than that at this point. But everybody has gone through shit. We're all struggling mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, whatever the case may be. But there's always somebody out there that's got it worse than you. So don't let anything bring you down. Don't let anything interrupt your peace. Look at your life as a blessing. You woke up because somebody upstairs believed in you. You got to start believing in yourself. I believe in you, and I don't even know you.
I love
Sorry.
that. Nah, you don't gotta be sorry.
I
You
just
do that.
wanted to say that nobody believed in me when I went through my addiction. There was nobody I could turn to. Nothing. There was nobody when I was mentally going through shit that could help me. Nothing besides a therapist. The fuck? Where's the love? Where's the family? This world is so divided. We need unity. Let everybody come together. Families, let's be together again. Whatever happened to being in the street and having cookouts? Now everybody is afraid to just even look at somebody. We
You
need to
ain't
bring it
lying
back.
about that, man. You definitely not lying about that.
We need to bring it back. I'm sorry.
Yo, you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
So as I'm doing the POV for you right now when you were talking, my whole screen expanded. And I couldn't figure out how to get to the place where I can like exit the solo screen. So I'm like, how am I gonna end this shit? It was funny as hell. Like you should have seen me like touching the screen, touching the keyboard, like, oh my god, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like
You got
because
it
it'd have been
figured
like,
out though.
yeah, it'd have been like a dead awkward silence, and I wouldn't have figured out a way to fucking exit this shit. But I'm happy I did though. But you caught me without my shades. No, that's okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, guess what? When you're on my podcast in June, you are gonna have the shades off.
No problem. You know,
Gonna
I'm
be
all,
raw.
I'm all for it because it's only fair, right? You were on my podcast with no shades on, so it's only fair.
I mean, I
But
could put shades on, but
but like I said, I appreciate you. And for those that are watching, this is her life, Stacy, BKA Stotz. I am hoping, I'm not even gonna say I'm hoping because I know you did. I know you enjoyed the journey. But the crazy thing is, this is just the beginning. Because, like she said, she got her book coming out. So, whatever questions that you think you might have in your head, I'm pretty sure will be answered in her book.
oh yeah.
So, appreciate you, Queen. I can't wait to be on your platform on June because I am eager to tell my life story. I tried to do it plenty of times with other people before, but it didn't go as planned. But I'm happy that I'm able to do it on your show. So, June 21st, look out for that. Part 1. Oh, speaking of that, I forgot to say that in the beginning. What's going to be the name of your podcast?
Amelia Rose from Concrete.
Wow.
I think that's what I'm gonna go with.
Amelia Rose from Concrete. Wow.
In
I
honor of
like
my mother.
I like that.
Yeah.
I definitely like that. With the name like that, guaranteed to go places. Because not only will you make sure with your charisma and your style and your grace, your daughter upstairs, Amelia, is going to make sure the same thing too. Because you are keeping her name alive when probably a lot of people wanted you to let it die. So I
They did.
commend you for real.
Thank you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to say what I needed to say. It was really therapeutic, I have to say. Even writing my book, like it was therapeutic. But this just having and talking and questions, like, and your questions were not basic because you just had run along, like it just kept continuing. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
exactly.
You know, I appreciate you. Thank you.
I appreciate you, Queen. For those that are watching, you know the motto, you know the saying. Spread love, not hate. Chase our dreams. We out of here.
Yeah.